because according to my fans, the mic was muted, and I took a screenshot to show you that the mic wasn't muted. See if people find me. I just cancelled the last live stream because I kept getting messages saying I was on mute, or the voice was cutting in and out. And I definitely am not muted. No, there's no one here. Do you know, if I go and watch it and I find that it wasn't muted, you guys are in trouble. Hooray! All right, cool, thanks. I really feel like probably doesn't make any sense that, like, because I did a screenshot to show that it's not muted. Sometimes I think it might be when I'm plugged in. Doesn't make any sense, does it? But thank you for letting me know. I don't really know why that happens sometimes. I mean, it seems to happen to me an awful lot. Did I put sugar in this? So, hi again. Apparently this is better now. Thank you very much. And where are you in the world, like country-wise? Claps, where are you from? Also, I want all messages showing, not just the top ones. Who gets to decide what the top ones are? West London. Wow, you're not far away. Okay, look, here I go. I can make it subscribers only. All right, fabulous. I've made that happen. So it's subscriber only. Yes, but you can just subscribe straight away and it'll give you permissions. That really isn't too far away from me. I'm only, I mean, as the crow flies, I'm 20 miles from London, but it's like, it's not, I don't know, I suppose it depends how fast you drive, okay? But I was saying to my friend last night about, Hertfordshire, for a county that's the exact county above London, I think because we don't have a city like, you know, Oxfordshire has Oxford City and so on and so forth. Whereas Hertfordshire doesn't have any cities. I mean, Welwyn Garden City is not a city. Stevenage isn't really a city. They're more just large towns, a county of large towns. And I certainly was just, as an example, saying to my friend that when I first moved here, I moved from Bristol. And I was talking to someone about the artist Banksy, and they'd never heard of him. And I have a feeling that, you know, it shouldn't be so like that round here. How can you not heard of Banksy if you're a young person as well? And then we were talking about 15-minute cities, and like, if you restrict people's access to move around, the other thing that doesn't move around as quickly is news. Do you know what I mean? Like, even when animals roam around and they go about, they kind of leaving their information behind. So when another animal comes along, they know, oh, there's been a fox here or whatever. And I feel like if you restrict people's ability to travel, then you restrict the freedom of movement of information, I think. Check that out. Do you know, one time I had my nails painted black and I really wasn't expecting how miserable it made me feel. But I love having colours on my nails because it just cheers me up. Otherwise, I'm in black today. But I gained a stone probably since October, November. I think my thyroid meds are just not enough. And I gained a stone. So like I have a leather jacket. And it only just about does up as long as I'm not wearing a sweater, if I just wear a top. So definitely gained weight. And I don't mind gaining weight, like if I've eaten a lot, but it's very annoying if it's happening because of having an underactive thyroid. So I don't feel like I've consumed them that much, you know. Flax says, Harida e-scooter. Yeah, I mean, they seem all right. I mean, do you have to wear a helmet for that? Is it legal to ride those? I think I've never seen anyone wearing a helmet on an e-scooter. And they're also really heavy. Like one of my housemates in Liverpool had one and he used to charge it in the basement. And it was super heavy. That's all I remember of it. So I'm going to do a vape. Oh yeah, I think once you've had, Clark says that he wears they wear a motorcycle helmet because they already had an accident hitting a speed bump at 50. Yeah, I think once you've had one accident, it does tend to make you more cautious about your protective gear. And I just rode ponies from really young, and the first time I had a major sort of accident on a pony was I fell off really slowly, like almost in slow motion, went down the shoulder. I don't remember why. The pony was very small. She was a Cremello. And I put my arm out to break my fall, or I'm not sure that I was really thinking of that, but that's how I fell. I kind of fell like that and I broke my wrist. So, you know, once you've had one accident. But horse riding is similar, really dangerous. If, like, say if the horse falls on top of you, or if you're falling at speed, and I think a lot of it depends on how you fall, or as in like how you land per se. She's firing up. I find it really tricky in this room to get the lighting okay. Like, you know, that's okay, isn't it? I know I'm always doing these in the dark, but... All right, we're at 4 minutes, see? Ready? By the way, YouTube likes to set these for over 18 when I do this, and I've got to be honest, I'm a medical cannabis user who's using cannabis on prescription, who's vaping it, so there's not even any secondhand smoke to get anyone else high. And YouTube allows a million videos of people smoking weed and doesn't set them to over 18. But last time I did this on a stream, YouTube was like, well, that needs to be over 18 now, so... yeah, horses bucking is a problem, actually. I mean, I just don't have the strongest core, although I was loads stronger when I was horse riding, but I'm hypermobile, so yeah, I don't like horses bucking around either. Michael Barrymore, that's a name from like the 1990s, is it not? Clack says Michael Barrymore does vape. I thought Michael Barrymore killed someone in his swimming pool. Are we talking about the same person? Thanks for the thumbs. Really? It was like a 90s TV show host, right? He does usually. I'll have to look him up. I mean, what I'm waiting for is somebody who used to smoke weed, who switches to vaping, and then might get like a sponsorship deal for, I don't know, Aris or Vulcancraft or whatever. I follow the Reddit group for Medical Cannabis UK, and I see a lot of people writing messages having problems at work with their prescription, even though they are not. If once you burn your cannabis, it's no longer considered a medicinal prescription, and you're just breaking the law. But even so, people having problems, like say they're going to a venue. I think Cadbury's World was maybe one of them. And so they wrote ahead of time and said, you know, we're going to be here for 4 hours and I'll be bringing my vape and dosing. And they were like, no, you can't do that. And workplaces that it's fine until somebody complains that they can smell marijuana and then they're being asked not to do it. And if you were using something more like this, then obviously no one's any the wiser. But... you know, not everyone gets on with those type of cartridges, and they want to use the green. Severe depression. Well, severe depression and social anxiety, maybe. But I feel like maybe you're going in at the far end to start off with a cannabis prescription for those things. Although you know, something like a kind of 1-to-1 ratio of THC to CBD would probably do you loads of good. Also, I mean, you probably really like the oils. I'm just trying to think like what other herbs you can use for depression and anxiety. But the key thing is that you need to really understand where the physical basis is for it. I mean, I love chamomile for anxiety, but it wouldn't be or like not. Yeah, I mean, because there's a lot of herbs that, you know, you can go to for that. Maybe canna. The thing about it is, though, you need to take them regularly. You need to do them every day. You need to carry on with it. You want a medical herbalist to prescribe to you. I mean, this, for me, the failure of the NHS is nothing to do with the fact that it's subsidised. It's to do with the fact that it's Hobson's choice of the type of medication that you have, that you use, and the fact that it's so difficult to get referrals. I mean, that is a problem because it's subsidised, and that, you know, they don't even hardly ever touch your body. And when you've got, you know, if you had a condition that needed physiotherapy every week for life, like Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, they don't even have care plans for people with EDS because we're way too expensive. But they'll give us like opiate drugs, and they'll give us shit like that and pregabalin, but they won't touch us. If you're already on meds, like I'm assuming, I'm going to assume an SSRI, I don't really think it's worth using cannabis if you're, you know, if you like the CBD drinks. I mean, the thing is, it's like committing to it. It's really easy to get a prescription from a doctor, even though it's just pills, and then you're kind of committed to taking them every day. But sometimes, look, all I can say is just herbs. Yeah, SSRI. I mean, definitely keep on with the CBD, crack on with that. But if they make you feel too tired, then you would want a sort of 1-to-1 ratio of THC as well. And you can start really low, you know. You don't need to. And I think, you know when you're having a hard time, if you smoke a joint and things improve, because that was my experience. The first one was an improvement, and then it just it's downhill from there. How is people? I wonder how many people are just listening. Like I said in the other video, there's no performances, I'm just chat. Right, this is what I mean. Even something like lion's mane, that is such an amazing, amazing medicinal mushroom. If you can't take it with an SSRI, I know what I would be getting rid of the SSRI, and I would be learning all about how to withdraw from psychiatric drugs safely, which involves a lot of tapering and taking care of your physical well-being. But that's good, because then you get new habits, and you want to be having Epsom salt baths and things. I mean, this is, I suppose, what annoys me about the NHS is their drugs are free, and then everything else you have to pay for. So for me, that's not free healthcare. That's free sick care. If you want to stay sick, take these free drugs forever, then you're going to be on them for life. You won't recover. If you want healthcare, you have to pay for magnesium salt baths, for herbs, to consult a herbalist, to see a massage therapist, to do whatever it is, whatever your jam is. There are so many different types of therapists. You know, if I say I like the chiropractor, there's room for you to hate them. I just know that my chiropractor was great and didn't sell me he never sold me like, you know, I could just see him whenever I wanted. But I don't have enough money to be doing all these things. I do what I can. And so, yeah, if you've got an interaction between something like lion's mane, my gosh, I think they do damage. Where Clax is saying he found that if he stopped his SSRI, he got vertigo, feeling dizzy. Did you taper over several weeks, months really? If you just stopped immediately. Yeah, I'm not surprised. But the only way that I've ever been able to come off of any meds that I've been on long term is by doing a long titration, tapering down. Actually, there's a channel on YouTube called The Taper Clinic, or just at Taper Clinic, and that's really useful. But where I was getting my information was from almost 100 years ago, but actually closer to 20 years ago, was things like the Icarus Project, which doesn't really exist in the same format anymore, but they make booklets like called Withdrawing from Psychiatric Drugs, and it requires listening to audiobooks and reading different things. I mean, look, one of the main reasons that people do not stay in recovery from life controlling, substance abuse or whatnot, these different things, is because they're not looking at the nutritional. They're not looking at the nutrition. Let's say somebody was abusing alcohol for a long time, their brain will not have the correct amount of fat in it, and they will need to. They need to take omega-3s and stuff. So that's why a lot of things like AA and so on, or rehabs that are based on the 12-step model, are failing people, because they're not taking nutrition into account. Because there'll be a reason why you preferred that particular type of drug. Let's say some people, they like heroin, and alcohol works on the same receptors in the brain. That would give you an indication of, So Patrick Holford was somebody that I looked at, because I actually did a university certificate in addiction studies. I just didn't get like the final module to qualify me to work with addicts, because I had chronic bronchitis, and so I dropped out. But it did demystify a lot of things for me, because I went to a 12-step rehab when I was coming up 27, like the month of my 27th birthday, which was December 2007. And it's funny though, because I got diagnosed with sex and love addiction in there, and I didn't believe them, because I didn't think it was valid. I was like, everyone loves someone. And in terms of like any kind of nymphomania, I didn't feel that I'd struggled with anything like that, apart from there was one time when I was 16 or 17, and I had a boyfriend who was a bit older than me, which was considered a bit more normal back then, and definitely would raise more eyebrows now, but he was in his 20s, so yeah, I don't know. So I could maybe, then when I looked into love and sex addiction, actually, it's a really interesting thing to look into. That's better. I was wondering what's wrong with my camera. And what am I trying to say here? I completely forgot, actually. It's very informative. Well, yeah, I can't say much more than that, can I really? Like, get the right kind of help. I don't know what happened to us in the UK. Like, I'm Gen X on the cusp of millennial. Why? Because this is me all over, like, powerless. I'm like, and I think like I'm being assertive and so, are we like super pampered or something? I think so when we have problems, which UK health problems, it's like synonymous. We don't even have iodine in the table salt, and then wonder why we have lots of people with hypothyroidism. Anyway, we go to the doctor, and yes, I think most of the time it's money, but even so, it seems to be like really difficult to convince people sometimes that they can pursue other avenues of healthcare that don't have to be like crazy, but it's up to you. But free healthcare has not worked out for me at all. And it's not free. Like, when taxpayers paid for me to spend about 5.5 years of having psychiatric treatment, or I probably had about 5 years of psych treatment on the NHS, and I'm talking about inpatient. How much does it cost to keep somebody who's had another physical breakdown, to keep them in a psych unit, for one night, for 1 week? I would love them to have spent that money on physio and stuff that really worked for me. Anyway, this is not all about me. Yeah, man. Yeah, sometimes maybe it's a bit late at the moment. Is it too late? No, it's not too late, but if you don't have enough, like if you're already on universal credit and PIP because of your illness that the NHS couldn't fix for you, or even, in this case, depression, anxiety, then it's super difficult to be able to afford the other stuff. You know what? I took an SSRI. No, I didn't take that for years. I took tramadol, which is an opiate and an SNRI, and I never knew that. That's what I mean. That kind of attitude when I never Googled tramadol before I started taking it, and I took it for like a decade. And then I Googled it when I came off it, or just before I came off of it, and went onto the hydrocodeine and went, oh, it's an SNRI. I'm really against those type of drugs. And I took it for like 10 years, and this kind of thing. And like trying to convince people, like, we are medication spellbound. That is what Patrick Bregan, Dr. Bregan, Peter Bregan, not Patrick, Dr. Peter Bregan calls it medication spellbinding. We didn't, if you were born in 1980 like me, or in the 80s, 90s, we're not that far away from the 50s and kind of when all this whole MK Ultra thing started. So, and it's all MK Ultra. I mean, they try. Clax has said doctors pay when they prescribe, and I don't know why they try to wriggle out of that in the UK and say no, not us. But yeah, they're taking them wines and dines by the pharmaceutical companies. So, because I don't know, with the thing with mental health is it's all kind of more heart-based thing where people go with it, and I'm like, that's really nice and everything, but there is a whole physical body. And for something like anxiety, there's so much you can do with herbs for anxiety. So I always think go physical first and think about, or if you're lucky enough to not yet have ever had depression or whatever it is yet coming up for you and you're still young, make yourself strong. Make yourself physically strong from someone who thinks it's maybe almost too late for me. But I am strong because I carry myself around with chronic pain. But I'm also extremely weak. So if you've still got the capacity and the time to do it, especially when you leave school, don't stop doing your sports and stuff, and be doing all that sit-ups and whatnot every day, isn't it? Otherwise, you're fucked, like me. Get a routine, I think like parenting is lost on everybody as well. Like, first of all, we like outsource it to the government with school instead of forming like community schooling thing, like homeschooling community with different mums that you met when you were pregnant. You could do that, but no, you outsource it. And then you outsource like the parenting at home to an iPad and ignore the fact that with all treats and everything, oh, it's a treat. No, you're building habits for this person in the future. They're going to, end up with the problems later. And it's like the training that a child has up to the age, I think it's like particularly 9, or it's maybe it's like particularly between 5 and 10, but not leaving out like 10 to 15 and all that. Like, if you had like a really malintention, you could do something nasty there, right? Intentionally. But I'm not saying like I know what the method is here. I'm just saying if like, let's say you have a 9-year-old child. From now on, you've been doing it for 3 years, where every morning when you go and wake them up in the morning, let's say, or when you wake up in the morning, you're going to do like loads of sit-ups and a little exercise thing together for just 10-15 minutes first thing in the morning, right? And you do that every day. And then before nighttime, you got like a meditation session, reading and so on. You spend like a couple of hours doing that in the evening. If you carried on doing that until that child's 15, they will never stop doing that. Don't say these are the worst invention ever. This means that I can make a roll up when I'm outside. Okay, this also means that I keep my hands warm when I'm inside because I have Raynaud's disease, and this helps. So, what are you trying to say, eh? Clax said kids today, no discipline. That's what I mean. Parenting is 1,000% lost on Gen X. Gen X, my gen. That I wasn't even allowed to start. Like, my baby was earmarked, taken at risk of future harm. My mum was adopted, and then I found out that adoption runs in families. It's the thing, like, I don't know when this shit's going to change, because I think the elites, whoever they may be, the powers that be, I mean, or at least the Illuminati, like, because see, they take that equivalent way of raising a child. Like, those are really good habits to instill in a child. And, like, you know, however you like. What my point is, because the Illuminati do this, but like in an invert way. They're very, very structured in the way that they raise their children. I don't know who these people are. Just from what I've read about Illuminati and the way that they raise traumatized people, like trauma-based mind control slaves. But each person born into that ring, well, they'll have like a whole plan. It's very, very planned. That's my point. You can even learn from these people, because they are so meticulous in the way that they plan each child's upbringing. And it's lost on us. But I promise you that if you did that with your child from the ages of, I don't know, 6 to 16, every single morning, you do this thing with the exercise and reading and praying or whatever the heck it is, they'll do it always. They'll forever. They will forever. Whereas me, you're lucky if I brush my teeth when I wake up. Like, but I thought I'm going to get myself in hands, you know. My friend left today, and I got up and I was like, I'll take a shower and go out. I need to get myself in hands. I really do. Just because something's difficult or I don't like it. Still need to do it. I'm not listening to that porridge, because I don't know if that's true or not. It might be bullshit. He asked me to go to Belfast. And then I contacted Marty, who's one of his friends who used to sponsor me on Patreon. And I said, might come to Belfast. And he went, oh, and he like got really worried. He was like, I was like, oh, I'll come live near you. And he was like, oh, well, don't you want to come and visit first? Like, I said, oh yeah, let me know if you don't want me to come, right? Yeah. Bloody hell. No, I don't know. I'm still trying to sell my house for a bit more money, because I got offered, do you know what I got offered? That 180,000 for a property that I paid 295,000 for 10 years ago. So I thought, all right, I'll wait. I don't know, these are awkward, these lives, because you guys might know nothing about me, and then it's just, well, assuming there is many people that know nothing about me, it's going to sound really weird. So I'm going to try and keep engaging with these comments, because Porridge has said, Lord King of Belfast said I'm going to go to his stream. I'm not safe around him. I think that's the thing. I don't know. And also he has, you know what? I like guys with no hair for some reason, actually. All right. Okay, here's the deal, Porridge. Tell King of Belfast, she says you're fit, and when's he coming over? All right, I'll task you with that. He's fit. She says he's fit, and when's he coming over? Or something like that. Might need a bit of work on the end of that. He's fit. Yeah, all right, just that whole message. Smackhead Stacey deadbeat mum says, I'm not going to read it first. My foster mum was 1 in a million. The doctors had me on Ritalin. Hey, this rhymes. My foster mum was 1 in a million. The doctor had me on Ritalin. I told her how it made me feel, like I was encased in a block of steel. She wrote ice. While everything was on fast forward and burning, she taught me to run. And for 20 years I've been running. Right, girl, you're a poet and you don't even know it. Truth Over Lies is here. Good evening to you. Domestic man. You guys are weird. You're a weird load of trolls. But it is MO. Just tell lies about people. Just tell lies. Like Nike. Just tell lies, yeah? Just tell lies. Nike. Do you know, like, when you buy a tea bag and it costs like 3 pence, that's an expensive tea bag. I would have thought that's like an organic type. The person that picked it probably Like, they live in a hut, for real. I'm just letting you know. They live in a hut. They I don't know, like, they're indentured slaves. Indentured slaves. Likes and subscribe, says Matthew 6065. Got back from the dentist after having my cavities filled in the chair for about 1 hour, 30 painful, like your channel. I teabag you, love, says Dazzy backup. Well, gee, I don't know, you guys are weird. Where bring back the art of lovemaking. What happened? Huh? How many broken hearts do you think it takes until you're done? You can't go psycho. You know, some people gone psycho for sure from their comments online. Whereas I just sort of think, what's the analogy? I want to get my better analogy for it. Something to do with candles maybe, but I mean, I'm going to have to use the analogy I was told. If you use a Band-Aid, or just anything that's sticky, and when it's stuck, talking about sex and love and relationships, so when it's stuck together, it's not supposed to be removed, because obviously try and stick it back together again, it's not going to be very sticky anymore. And if you keep doing that with different partners, then eventually, like, there's nothing to hold you together. And I think it's true. It came true in my life. But from comments I see, I think, unless they're joking, but sometimes I just see comments where people, I don't really understand what they're at. I don't know what they're looking for, like, really, but I don't think they're looking for to get married and start a family. But then it all comes down to money again, doesn't it? Like, and health. Because if you haven't got those two, then you can't do the others. Generally speaking. 7-5. Me and Jazz would double teabag you. Hey, what's the like, how are people feeling about my more recent funny stuff, should we call it? Because I've had a really weird ride with live streaming in the last year. Like, I've been everywhere, you know? I feel like I'm also really stoned from that. Well, not stoned. Not stoned, but I'm just wanting to curl up and go to sleep. Maybe it's just the winter thing, yeah. What's this about? So, I never eat Iceland food, Clax. I don't think I've ever in my life eaten Iceland food. A lot of the times I've just not had a freezer, for God's sakes. Call them munchies. No, you know, I've not eaten a bloody thing either today, since yesterday. I think I ate a chicken doner kebab at about 1 a.m, because I bought it earlier on in the evening and then put it away and ate it. And since that point, I've had nothing. But, well, I've had, like, oil, fats, I don't know. This is what I mean about gaining a stone. It's like maybe even 1.5 stones is what I gained, and all told. And it's like, it must be my meds, because I know sometimes I'm just on my back all the time. Obviously, with arthritis, I don't really want to sit on it, and I can't stand all day long, unless there was some reason for that I had to, but not just at home. I'm not just going to stand, am I? So I know, yeah, definitely could do more exercise, and then I'm like, have got a high-fat diet, but since it's tied me over, I just put cannabis oil in my coffee or tea when I wake up. Do that a couple of times. If I get hungry, I eat, basically. I think I ate a lot over the weekend, so. You got no cooker. I got a freezer now. It's just like I've never gone to Iceland. I mean, I've walked in there and I've walked about and had a look. It's just, I get all my stuff from the supermarket and I don't really need to go to Iceland. And it's more like for people, families, if you've got like 4 kids or whatever, even 2 kids, mum and dad, then you need to fill your freezer stuff, and then it makes sense to go there, but not just one person. Yeah, no, it did get me stoned, actually. Well, I know it's not the right word, but I'm like, so comfortable right now. Do you know what? I get quite bored on these. I don't have, just when they're just chit-chat ones. Why? Because there's no background music. And so when I don't speak, there's just awful silence. And then I get bored, actually. So what, yeah, hang on, nobody answered the question. How are people feeling about more recent twerk, like funny monologues shit, you know? I don't know how to canvass feedback from people. I'm so fucking unpopular. You know, maybe a load of people think I'm demon possessed. I get asked that question sometimes, don't I? Are you demon possessed? Not yet. Maybe. Oh, yes. But I don't see any comments about the recent twerk. And maybe that's just because no one here has watched any recent twerk. You know, I'm trying. They're always done out of desperation. So obviously they would be better if they were more prepared rather than just waiting to the point that I get really desperate to do something, to communicate, I should say. You know, that would be better. But I think they're all right. I just wonder whether anyone else thinks they're all right. Does that say dildo? No. I collect haunted dolls and do paranormal. Haunted dolls. Alright. I might be someone's voodoo doll. You know that. Because of the way, like, you can put sound at people, like crowd dispersal. If you're watching crowd dispersal and everyone starts running because they heard a really loud noise but you didn't hear it, and you can do the equivalent thing with an individual or with a group, with heat, with pain, and then you need to take it, like bodily functions, all the stuff going on in your body can be affected, audible, the whole works, electronically, remotely. Voice of God technology was used, so called because it was used in the Afghan war, and is on record as they said, this is Allah, put down your weapons, and then everyone put down their weapons. So, you know. So why did I say that? Oh, because I could be a voodoo doll. But otherwise I can't imagine a thing being haunted, like a possessed doll. You mean haunted dolls? Yeah. Maybe they do. I was trying to work out, think about this analogy of this world as a shadow of the afterworld. And in my really poor science brain, I was trying to think about what that meant, and I'm just not like sold on things and places and people being haunted, and kind of think it's all in your head. But I know, like, you can affect something with your thoughts, right? Like the rice experiment and the snowflakes. Like, you know, snowflakes were like, even just writing the word love, like, or saying the word love to these freezing ice was making different patterns in the snowflakes. So yeah, intentions can affect things, and the vibration of things, and the intention of writing a thing. But when someone's passed away, like they've expired, their body left their body, I don't think they're going to get stuck like in a thing, right? Like they've gone. So I'm not sold on the haunting stuff. I'm really skeptical. But like I said, remotely, electronically, for quite a long time, we've been able to, at least as long as this discussion has been going on, recently. We've been able to, you know, make people hear things from a distance that other people can't hear and so on. So you could certainly make it seem like a place was haunted. Yeah, I think it's definitely got a scientific explanation rather than a kind of like a esoteric thing about the ghosts in limbo. I don't believe in limbo. Gosh, you people are so behind. I can't afford to. But I'll tell you one thing, because my battery's going to run out. It's going to go, I can see. Because if I plug it in, I think it's going to affect the microphone. So thanks now for everyone that's passed through and been, especially people in the chat. Really appreciate it. I cannot do this without you, but I have no one to talk to. When I was growing up, there was maybe 3 times, but definitely twice, I heard scratching in my room from like the bit of the room next door, which was basically the roof went like that, so that's the wall of my bedroom, and then the roof was like that, so there was this funny little room that was shaped like this, and from in there I heard what sounded like 1,000 mice scratching the wall. And like I said, it happened probably 3 times when I was a child, and that was in the 90s or probably still in the 80s, like that kind of cusp. So yes, that technology existed to make that phenomena sound like it was happening at that time. But the fact that I think we have no idea why that would be happening, do we? Mossad and Maxwell. But I've heard other people say things like that, and I don't know what it was, and it certainly wasn't 1,000 mice scratching the wall. That's the only way to describe it. Yeah, I was scared. Yeah, I was frozen in my bed. Yeah. And definitely that time I used to, like, well, because where I lived on Sally Deard's Lane, it has this massive, like, folk